Good morning, grade 12 business studies learners of the Free State Province. Let me introduce myself. I am Mr. Stadthouwer. I'm the Provincial Coordinator for Economics and Business Studies in the province. Before we start with this morning's presentation, I just want to say to you that and wish you good luck with the economics paper 2 that you are going to write today. All of the best, and may God give you the strength to do exceptionally well in this specific paper. Now, our presentation today is about how to prepare for the end of the 2014 final examination in the subject of business studies. I'm not going to come to you with content this morning. I'm not going to come to you with textbooks. But the two most important documents that I brought along is the CAPS policy document, and this document tells us what you were supposed to do, what topics, what subtopics you had to do during the course of the year, which term, and also the assessment that goes hand in hand. Let me just show you quickly what I mean. If you look at the screen, you will see that there is our Business Studies Annual Teaching Plan, and for grade 12, and it says to us exactly what we are going to teach. For 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks this year, we were busy with the macro environment, and specifically we had to look into the impact of recent legislation on businesses, and then the content of this acts is the different types of acts that we are going to study. Very important is the CAPS policy document. You must also read it. You must know the content of it before you start preparing yourself for the examination. So this is the purpose of this very important document. Now, what I'm calling the navigation instrument, that one that leads you to the paper, into the examination room, is our examination guidelines. Our examination guidelines. And this is, as I said, this is my navigation instrument that I'm going to use to lead me into the examination room and prepare myself for the paper. Now, very, very important, the first thing before we come to sit down to study is after you have drawn up your study timetable, the first thing in preparing for the business final paper is that you must know the structure of the question paper. Now, I'm going to take you through, while we are navigating through the guidelines, on page 4. On page 4 of the guideline, there is the structure of the question paper. They say here that the format of the formal end of the year examination question paper are as follows. It will consist out of 1, 2, 3, section A, B, and C, 3 sections, and each section has got different types of questions. Very important, section A. Section A of the question paper is compulsory. Section A is compulsory, and it covers all the topics. In other words, there will be 20 short questions, multiple choice questions of 2 marks each. And they say here different types of short questions and objective questions using various assessment styles and covering the entire curriculum. For example, there will be multiple choice, match columns, choose the correct words in brackets, and so on. So very, very important. Later on, after the break, we will come down and we will look into how can you prepare and make yourself aware how to answer these different types of multiple choice questions. The marks is 40 marks, and the time that you should spend is 30 minutes. Remember, what I'm trying to say to you is very, very important is try and stick to the time. Then we come to section B. Section B consists of of 5 questions. They say here 5 questions will be set, but very, very important is choose any 3 of these sections. In other words, question 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be in section B, of which you only had to do answer 3 of the 6. Please, I'm asking you not to answer all 5 the specific questions. Now, what does this question's content contain? They say these questions should cover the entire curriculum. Rubrics can be used in the marking of these questions together with a marking memorandum or a marking guideline. Applicable action verbs in this question are, for example, discuss. You will find this in the questions in section B. Motivate, compare, distinguish, explain, critically evaluate, justify, suggest, recommend, etc. Then there will be case studies or scenarios or source-based questions should be included. Answers should be in a point form or a paragraph style as per requirement of the question. I just want to come back to you and say to you, when you answer questions from section B, it is very, very important to note that 30%, more or less 30% of the questions in this section is taken from the textbooks. It's textbooks based. 70% of them are in the form of case studies and scenarios. And very, very important, when there's a question on a case study or a scenario, you should know that you must apply the content knowledge of what you have studied in this specific scenario. In the past, learners try and answer what they remember when they studied from the textbook on this scenario. I would like to say to you once again, try and answer the questions from the case study or from the scenario. 3 questions of 60 marks each, and it gives you a total of 180, and you should spend more or less 90 minutes of the 3 hours of the paper you must spend on answering these questions. Very important is the questions address the cognitive levels 1 to 6. In other words, analyzing, applying, creating, and evaluating. Then the last section of the question paper is section C, and this is what we call the essay type questions. And these questions mostly are level 3 to level 6, analyzing, applying, creating, and evaluating. Now, very, very important is in this section, you'll be given 4 questions, 1 per focus area. 4 of them of 40 marks each, but very, very important is you should only answer any 2 of those questions out of this section. So, very, very important is the other 60 minutes, 1 hour that stays behind, that is left behind, you must then start doing answering the 2 questions in section C. This is your essay type questions. Yesterday in my presentation, how to prepare yourself in answering essay type questions. So very important is 1 question, you should spend more or less 30 minutes on that specific question. Right. Also, it's very important to note that the distribution of the cognitive levels in the whole question. The question consists out of 300 marks, 100%, and very, very important, the lower order questions weighting will be 30%, the middle order will be 50%, and the higher order questions will consist of 20% of the question paper. Right. Now, very, very important is, now that you know the structure of the question paper, it is important to have in a and then focus to have on one page the whole curriculum and all the content topics that you are going to do. Now on